Good afternoon. Welcoming everyone to the virtual event on latest tech updates for commercial and industrial solutions. Today's virtual event is designed to provide the technology updates in the futuristic module technologies, inverter variants available for C&I segment, and other components which are the foundation for solar projects. This event is an exclusive platform for all the project developers, system integrators, EPCs, and OEMs service providers to get insights, tips, and tricks on how to excel the C&I segment from procuring from the most trustworthy distributor. I would like to thank our partners who have joined us today, Longi, Sungrow, and PowerStar. Now, without wasting much time, let's begin with our first presentation on design optimization to maximize energy yield through PV modules, Longi C&I Solutions by Mr. Kevin Robinson, who is the Technical Sales Manager from Longi Solar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, and to all our Muslim customers who are celebrating Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem. It's although I'm sitting in here in Cape Town today, it's really great to be back in Dubai, although even only virtually. So today, what I'd like to talk about is a little bit about the Longi value proposition and how we can actually optimize designs for commercial rooftops in order to make sure that the customers are getting the best return on their investments. Okay, so what I'll talk about is just give you some quick updates about Longi, our financial performance. I'll talk a little bit about some of the technical aspects that make Longi a good choice for your projects, and we'll talk also about some specifics around the product technology. So some updated numbers from us. The company, it was established in the year 2000. Currently, we've got more than 60,000 employees working in the company across all the different business units. And you know, one thing that Longi really values quite a lot is the actual being an innovative and sustainable company. So, you know, we invest quite a lot of money in the research and development, not only of the solar modules themselves, but all the technology that goes into it, from silicon right through to the solar cells. So over the past few years, since 2012, we've invested almost $1 billion in research and development to make sure that you have the best quality and most reliable products that generate you know, the most amount of energy. In terms of financials or financial recognition, a number of different publications recognize us as a strong company. And last year, Financial Times recognized us as one of the top 100 companies and listed us as the top 10 firms with most market gain. When it comes to innovation, I think working with partners is very important as well. And this is one of the reasons why we are doing this webinar today with Sungrow. Sungrow is one of our biggest industrial partners that we work with. And it's really to make sure that when it comes to the module technology, it integrates well into the entire system, the entire environment of the solar installation. So very strong working with on a collaborative platform to develop innovative solutions, and really are a strong leader in the energy transformation. So one of the other things that we work we try and focus on quite a lot is working with external research institutes, and this is really to get new ideas and work with different people throughout the world in order to make sure that we are delivering the best solutions for our clients. some more numbers in terms of leadership. So Longi has always been a company that offers P-type monocrystalline technology right from the beginning when the company started. So the mono technology is really been our strong point. And over the past 3-4 years, we've seen how through that leadership and developing mass production of mono technology, now the industry has followed, and now 95% of the market is now comprised of the solar business comprised of monocrystalline technology. So as of last year, 15% of all new energy installations in the world were using the Longi solar modules. Overall, we've got about 40% market share in the mono wafer business. Last year, we achieved a record and we're the first company to ship in excess of 20 gigawatts in a single year. So that was just over 22 gigawatts for the year. Currently, we've shipped in excess of 10 gigawatts of bifacial technology. And when it comes to financial recognition, we are a leader in those different metrics. Talking more specifically about the financials, when it comes to the different types of metrics, we have been proven to be 100% bankable across different financial institutions. We are listed on the Bloomberg New Energy Finance Tier 1 list, and currently we have the highest production capacity. So Tier 1 is not really these days the best metric to use. So if we look at some of the other metrics in the industry, we are the highest ranked on the Altman Z-score. This just shows profitability and financial liquidity of the company. And if we look at a different metric, the PV Module Tech rankings, Longi has been the only manufacturer that consistently stayed in the AAA rating. So this looks at a number of different aspects, not only the financial stability of the company, but investment in research and development, and it also looks at the actual production capacity and technology that the company uses as well. So that's something that we're incredibly proud of, to be an industry leader in this particular metric. Of course, it's not only good enough to be financially stable, but it's very important to have a very high quality, have technical reliability. And for us, I think it's important to show that industry for leading institutes in this particular field are recognizing Longi as as one of the leaders in the industry. So first, looking at TÜV Rheinland, they have shown over 2016, 2017, and 18, when it comes to energy simulation, the monocrystalline technology, we are a leader in that. But this is actually backed up by field testing as well. So in 2019 and 2020, we were also recognized in the energy generation category. PV Magazine has also recognized us for outdoor power generation, PV Tech for the highest scored module manufacturing technology. DNVGL, it's another third-party lab that is quite well known with their PV Evolution Labs, their PQP program, and Longi has been recognized in this for the past 5 years now as a top performer in these reliability tests. I think one of the ones that's most outstanding for us, however, is the RETC. So RETC is another lab that does high reliability testing, and in 2019 and 2020, Longi has been recognized as top performer in this module index. And the reason why this starts to become quite important for us is that if you start to look at some of the field tests or reliability studies, field performance, it does show, these studies do show that 4 or 5 years down the line after the modules have been installed, you start to see problems manifesting themselves. This might not necessarily impact the performance of the modules right now, but it is a very clear indication that problems will start to develop in the future when it comes to power performance. So it shows that the IC testing is not sufficient. All the IC testing does is filters out the early failures or the infant mortality failures. But we need different metrics to actually evaluate the reliability and performance of the modules in real environment. So this is why it's very important for us to participate and show through these different industry partners, these test labs, that we are a strong technical partner. So as I mentioned, Longi was a leader in the mono technology and led the innovation or transition to mono-PERC technology. So right now, about 95% of the market is mono-PERC, monocrystalline mono-PERC dominated, and this creates a challenge for industry or the downstream partners, whether it's the EPC or the end customer, is how do you actually differentiate yourself? So I think something that's quite important for us, I've spoken a bit about it, but I'll delve a little bit deeper into this. The first one is quality. So quality is extremely important for us. As I've mentioned in the first slide, innovation and sustainability are key values for Longi, and without having a highly reliable module, that sustainability is not there, because we are not able to, if we have a lot of field failures, we're not able to, you know, it's not something that you want to have. So this is looking at the RETC test results from 2020, and what it shows, or what the field or what the testing does, is it tests on three different areas: reliability, performance, and quality. Looking at the different tests, Longi was the only manufacturer that was top performer in every single category of these tests. So I think a lot of talk is happening on the larger size modules, and you know, I think I'll touch on the very last slide, but one thing I just want to show you here in this particular test is that if you look at the dynamic mechanical loading, Longi was the only company that was top performer in this category, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in the last slide. So Longi is when it comes to high reliability, definitely a leader in this part. But I think the thing that really differentiates us from some of our peers is what we actually do with the solar cells. So for the longest time, industry has used boron doping when it comes to manufacturing the solar cells to create the p-n junction. Longi differentiates itself with gallium doping, and what this allows us to achieve is a much lower degradation. Longi was the first company to offer a much higher performance warranty. So 2-3 years ago, the industry standard was 2.5% in the first year and 0.7% in the following years up to year 25. And what we led was the transition to much higher performance warranties. So 2% in the first year and 0.55% for our monofacials, and 0.45% for our bifacial technology. What the gallium doping also does is it solves the problem with light-induced degradation. So gallium is a much more stable material. It solves the boron-oxygen degradation problem that you have with boron. But what we're also doing is that by controlling the production process, we're able to minimize light and elevated temperature-induced degradation. So this is something that mono-PERC is particularly susceptible to. So by creating this, once again, lower degradation, lower light-induced degradation, and lower light and elevated temperature-induced degradation. So what this allows us to do is really effectively compete with, almost compete with N-type technology without altering our manufacturing processes. So if you wanted to have N-type silicon, it does require a process change to the production lines, and this allows us to achieve a high performance without doing those production process changes. Looking at some of the independent testing when it comes to light-induced degradation, using our processes that we call LIR, with the gallium doping, we are able to mitigate these degradations. So starting off on the left-hand side, over the early stages with our full cell modules, this is the Series 2 and Series 3 silicon cells. It was still reasonably high, but lower than industry. And now, currently, with our HIMO 4 and HIMO 5 technology, you can see across the RETC and PVL testing that that degradation has almost or practically disappeared. So, having a look at the warranty again, this is something that is incredibly important, because what quite often happens is, in the mindset of the EPC or the customer, quite often what the main consideration is, what is the cost per watt? But if we start to consider the lifetime of the modules, not only the 25-year power warranty, but your expectation is the modules will last 30, 35, 40 years. So over the lifetime of these modules, having a high performance module that is proven quality, reliability, and durability, but having the lower degradation as well gives us much more energy yield. So having a lower energy yield over a 25-year period of time lowers the levelized cost of electricity and gives the customer much higher returns. So when you start to evaluate Longi over the full lifetime of the project, we start to offer a much better value proposition than some of our peers. So just looking at those different aspects, how we achieve much higher energy yields with our HIMO series, the high efficiency monoperic, it's really a few things. So the first one is low radiance performance. So in the morning and the afternoon, you're getting much better performance through the low light performance, better temperature coefficients, better performance with the IAM performance through the glass, as well as the low degradation, and that's how we offer value to our customers. Looking more specifically at our product range, so the main products that we're offering at the moment is our Series 4 and Series 5 modules, so HIMO 4 and HIMO 5. In the HIMO 4 series, we have the 60 and 66 cell modules, which are really better suited for the distributed generation projects, so rooftop and rooftop projects for residential as well as commercial industrial. If we look at the 72 cells, really suited for commercial industrial rooftops as well as ground mount stations. And then the HIMO 5 range, really more suited to the utility scale projects. However, we do have some customers who do prefer this for their commercial rooftop projects as well. So why do we choose these two ranges? The 166, which is the HIMO 4 series, and the 182 millimeter cells, which is the HIMO 5 series, is really designed to start considering the balance of system savings. And we do this through minimizing the costs of the mounts. We also look at how the modules and the strings start to integrate with the environment, the inverter ecosystem, when it comes to stringing the modules and paralleling them in the combiner boxes. So what we're really trying to do is to ensure that when it comes to VOC, your open circuit voltage and short circuit current, that we're able to get better flexibility around matching the output of the solar strings to the input of your solar modules. So making sure that we have, with the larger size cells, the bigger the cells get, the more current they generate. The more current means that you start to have losses in the cables. We're trying to achieve a balance between being able to handle the modules on site easily and integrating into this ecosystem to make sure that the customer gets a balance of system savings, as well as trying to maximize the energy yield. So trying to balance all of these things, and that's why Longi has settled on the two ranges with particular solar cells that we use, and we've chosen not to go with the largest solar cells, the 210 that some of our peers are using. And we feel that this is the best solution for the customer, and although there is a lot of differentiate in the market with the different size solar cells, it can be quite confusing. We really feel that this is the future, and this is where the industry will settle. So just in summary, one thing actually I forgot to mention that our Sungrow to speak a little bit about, where we're also able to achieve much better energy performance from the solar plants is by working with Sungrow. They have some technical ability to be able to oversize the solar solutions. So what that allows us to do is better flexibility when it comes to the stringing, but also by having much higher DC to AC ratios, it means that you're getting much better energy performance for the cost of the system. So we're trying to optimize power versus cost, and that's also how we achieve better levelized cost of electricity. So just in summary, Longi has chosen the 182 millimeter and 166 millimeter solar cells with our HIMO 5 and HIMO 4 series. It gives us a wide range of flexibility in the different type of applications. By using the gallium doping, we're minimizing the various losses and the degradation to ensure that the customer gets better returns. We have strong bankability, means that you've got a strong and stable company that you're working with, proven quality, reliability, and durability. The lower open circuit voltage and short circuit currents gives us much better flexibility when it comes to string designs. And as I mentioned, oversizing the Sungrow ensures better AC to DC ratios and a result energy generation. Thank you very much. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable insights. Attendees, you can start posting your questions in Q&A box, and we can take the questions a little while later. Moving ahead with our next presentation on Sungrow C&I Solutions by Mr. Shield, who is a technical engineer, Sungrow MENA region. Over to you, Mr. Shield. So we aren't able to hear you.
Okay, how about now?
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Shield Shi from Sungrow headquarters, and it's my honor to give a presentation about Sungrow latest C&I inverter solutions for you. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the Sungrow story. As the leading focused inverter technology manufacturer, Sungrow was founded in 1997, and by the verification of Bloomberg NEF, Sungrow has been the world #1 supplier in financed projects, and is certified as 100% bankable. Secondly is the milestones for the Sungrow. As I said before, it's founded by a university professor called Cao Renxian in 1997, and at 2006, Sungrow has expanded our business to the global market, such as Netherlands, Japan, and US markets. In 2011, Sungrow has been successfully listed on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange. And by year of 2015, Sungrow has been the #1 of global market share. At the end of 2018, Sungrow has established our India factory, which is located in Bangalore and is putting into operation now. So far till now, Sungrow has deployed up to 154 gigawatts inverters worldwide. This page shows the core divisions of Sungrow. First, as a foundation, is PV inverter, definitely. Beyond this, we can offer the energy storage system as well. And moreover, we are able to provide a floating PV system such as brackets and inverters, PCS, and so on. For China domestic, we are running as EPC owner and EV charger, and we can offer the wind energy converter as well. The mission of Sungrow is clean power for all. Till now, Sungrow has generated 280.1 billion kilowatt hour of clean energy now, and what's more, we offset 174.5 million tons of carbon dioxide. For social responsibility aspect, Sungrow has poverty alleviation program for more than 300,000 poverty-stricken households and 2,200 poor villages across the country. Next part is about wires. For the last past decade, Sungrow keeps 42.6% of annual growth rate, and for last year, the total shipment for Sungrow is 35 gigawatt for the worldwide. Sungrow has put more than 8% of our revenues into R&D investment in 2020, and for the employees, more than 40% of them are working as an R&D center. So by the help of their hard working, Sungrow has cumulative patent applications for more than 2,600. Okay, from this picture, you can see this is the largest EMC laboratory in PV industry we built in Sungrow headquarters. And for more than this, Sungrow testing center is certified by the world-class certificate institutions like TÜV Rheinland and TÜV SUD and the ULCSA institutions. This is the view from our manufacturing factory. To sum it up, Sungrow is able to provide 100 gigawatt production capacity per year. And for China, for China, it has 90 gigawatt per year. India is 10 gigawatts, and for the residential inverter production, more than 250,000 units can be produced per year. And here's the extensive footprint across the worldwide. For Middle East region, we have 5 service points and 2 local warehouses. About the product reliability and assurance, all of them, each of the products will be tested and verified of various testing. such as waterproof test, dustproof test, vibration, high temperature, low temperature cycle test, and salt mist for the case. For production line, is completely automatic by the help of industrial robots. From PCB producing, PCB board order tests, and the industrial robots will take care of the inverter auto assembly work and auto packaging work. And after all the assembly of the inverter itself, the whole inverter will be sent into the burn-in testing room for running at least 4 hours at nominal power. And for the product itself, Sungrow adopts a World Tier 1 level component supplier. Such you can see from the inverter module, the IGBT is coming from the Germany Infineon. Capacitance fans are coming from the Japan, Nippon, and NMB. For the DSP we use to integrate the inverter itself is coming from the Texas Instruments. And compared to other brands of inverter supplier, Sungrow is able to provide our inverter with a 5 years warranty for free and up to 25 years extension option. Next is coming to the key point, the C&I PV inverter. So for C&I family, the key products are SG33, 40, 50, and the biggest one is SG110CX. So these products are mainly for the rooftop projects and commercial and industrial projects. For this platform of inverter, all of them are adopted as key features listed on the right side. Active smart cooling system on the back side of the inverter, and all of them can support installation horizontally. For the case design is IP66 level and C5 level for the anti-corrosion. At nighttime, is able to provide the PID recovery function and reactive power and generation at night. For the OEM, for the maintenance issue is to suppose the remote and local commissioning and maintenance by the help of iSolar Cloud. Okay, let's talk into the deep of the small ones. For 33, 40, 50 CX series, the DC-AC ratio is up to 1.5. And by the help of the 2 strings per MPP design, no fuses required for the DC side. And 3, 4, 5 MPPs for 33, 40, and 50 respectively. For the AC box, you can see it's a patent connector design, so it's easy for the fast installation and commissioning. For the DC side, the inverter is able to support the IV curve scan, which helps you to detect the status of the strings. And all of them are adopted as a touch-free commissioning. There's only a LED indicator on the upside of the inverter itself, and it shows the running status of the inverter, running or warning or erroring. So for SG110CX, it has also 2 strings per MPP design, but it has 9 MPPs totally. So low starter voltage from 200 volts DC side helps you to generate power even the sunlight is not good at morning, or there is some clouds on the weather. And the DC-AC ratio up to 1.5, same as the smaller ones. Smaller smart active cooling and commissioning via apps. So for the communication with our iSolar Cloud app is there's a IM4 dongle, which I will show you later in slides. So this is the bottom view of the SG110. You can see the 3 DC switches controlling the 9 MPD, each one for 3 MPDs. And for communication ports, the standard Modbus protocol is supported. So it means you can use RS485 standard cable, and even RJ45 cable is supported. For the AC cable connection, maximum 240 square meters aluminum cable is supported. Okay, here's the active cooling system design. So for the CX family, all of them are designed as a separate chamber. For the front chamber is an electronic chamber. All the key components are integrated inside this electronic chamber, and is totally isolated from the ventilation chamber on the backside. So if you have to do some maintenance for the ventilation chamber, no need to open the front cover of the electronic chamber. And for the fans, we adopted high quality IP68 fans, and you can easily if any maintenance work needed is a plug and play fan for OEM within 1 minute to replace the fan or do some maintenance work. And here's the temperature derating curve for SG110. So firstly, the 110 could support running at 110 kilowatt, even the ambient temperature reaches to 45 degrees. And at 50 degrees, it can keep the nominal power as 100 kilowatts. But one is if the temperature goes higher to even 60 degrees, the inverter could still be running, but the power will be derated to 50 kilowatts. And in case for some rooftop projects, there are not a proper wall for installation of the inverters. Sungrow provides the X-rack bracket as shown in the picture. This is if there is not a proper space for installation of the inverter itself, you can install it on the X-rack directly and put all of them onto ground. So that helps you to minimize the cost of installation for some cases on the rooftop. And for the latest design, because some C&I projects are usually on the rooftop, and there might be some lightning risk of the C&I project, or this might be caused some lightning hazards, or even device damage, or even fire of the projects. We designed the SPD for the inverter by enhanced lightning protection. For the standard SGCX families, is a Type 2 SPD for both DC and AC side. And Type 1+2 SPD is optional for the DC side. So compared to the Type 2 SPD, Type 1+2 has the higher level of discharging current, as you can see from the table. And it also has a higher voltage protection level up to 2.8 kilowatts. Moreover, for CX family, we can provide the arc fault cycle interruption, as in some regions we call it a rapid shutdown for the arc fault. So this feature for CX family is string level detection, and the inverter will be able to detect it and prevent arc fault in advance by the help of a DC side health diagnosis. And this function can be a remote setting, like switch on or off the function as by the smartphone app Isolo Cloud, And if any arc fault detected by the inverter itself, it will shut down itself within 300 milliseconds. So that protects the power plant. And another scenario for C&I project is revamping market. Because in some old power plants that you might need to replace the old inverters by the new ones to keep a better performance or efficient of the power plant, Sungrow is able to provide reverse combiner box plus the inverter solution. So this reverse combiner box could able to transfer the big DC clamp by the original combiner box coming from the existing power plants into MC4 cable. So the MC4 cable could be connected with SG110CX. And by the settings inside our monitoring system, you can change the 9 MPPT modes into the single MPPT mode of SG100CX. So all of the strings connected with this plant can be connected to the single MPPT mode of the SG100CX. Thus guarantees the yield and the power. So here you can see this is the PV reverse combiner box view. On the left bottom view is the design of the reverse combiner box. So it will transfer the big DC clamp cables into MC4 cable, and the MC4 cable goes directly to the SG110CX. And next, we're going to talk about the monitoring hardwares. So there are totally two different monitoring hardwares. One we call the IM4 wireless dongle, and another one is the COM100E. The software for the monitoring is we call it Isolar Cloud. It's both available for the smartphone apps and also for available for the web. And Sungrow is able to provide C&I meters as well. So someone may ask what's the difference between the IM4 dongle and the COM100E box. First one is the maximum lower access devices. For IM4 is up to 10 devices. For COM100 is up to 30 devices. And all of them can support the automatic device search and set up, QR code for quick scanning, and build the plant. OEM remotely and locally is also both available. And both of them has a built-in web server, supports of data upload by FTP's protocol. The major difference for the COM100E and IM4 is that COM100E is able to connect with local third-party extension support, such as the weather sensors and weather stations. And COM100E has Ethernet cable which can connect with the local router to realize the Ethernet cable communication. And here's some screenshots for the mobile monitoring of Isolar Cloud app. The key features are listed on the right side. First one is the online monitoring. Next is the report analysis and noticed by the apps to keep instant warning with you. And it has a real-time display of power generation and revenue. For Isolar Cloud Web, here's the main functions. First of all, it will highlight the false alerts in the system for all of the plants connected with your Isolar Cloud account. And is able to compare the historical yield for daily, monthly, yearly. And if any fault or warning alarm is showed, it can be able to filter the fault alarm and to show the details of the fault and if possible, it will give you advice and suggestions for how to repair it. And for the solutions, here is the typical C&I system solution. For the right side is the IM4 solution. So one IM4 dongle is able to control up to 10 inverters. Between these inverters, you can use the standard RS485 cable to realize the DC chain connections. And the IM4 will communicate with the local router by wireless communication and then send all the data of the plant to Isolar Cloud for monitoring. On the right side is a COM100E connection. So maximum 30 devices can be connected with COM100E, including meters, inverters, meter stations, and meter weather sensors. So COM100E can both work with Ethernet cable with the local router or wireless communication with the local router. For this system solution, firmware updating for inverters and the router and loggers can be realized as possible. And you can set the parameters, plant management, real-time monitoring, and export the analysis. And for self-consumption solution, someone may call it zero export solution. So it will be realized by the COM100E. So the COM100E will first read the data from the local meter. The meter will connect the local load's power and send the data to the COM100E. And then COM100E will send control signals to the inverter to generate the power to balance the power output from the inverter to match the local load power, and thus there's no power feeding into the grid, and the error export is realized. Okay, last is about some reference here. First of all, reference is a 100 kilowatt plant, which is located in island near Abu Dhabi. This is 3 SG36 kilowatt inverters. So you can see it's less than 100 meters distance from the sea, and all of them are running perfectly till now. In the middle picture, you can find this is the number 100 gigawatt inverter shipping from 2019. We invited some social medias and journalists to witness this big event. And on the right side, this is a picture from a rooftop plant which installed in Munich, Germany. And you can see 5 pieces of SG110 was installed on the rooftop, and realize the zero export for function, zero export solution to generate power for a local shopping mall. And the last page is the 80 megawatts installed with the SG 60 kilowatt, which is in Dubai in 2017. Okay, here's all my presentation, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable insights. So with this, we will move on to our next presentation on supporting the speed of solarization in the region, supply chain solutions for C&I sector by Mr. L.K. Verma, who is the founder and managing director of Power and Snap. Over to you, sir. We aren't able to hear you, sir. So we aren't able to hear you.
I'm sorry. Thanks, thanks, Sangeeta, for bringing me on the board now. Thanks, Shield. Thanks, Kevin, for the nice presentations. Thanks to the attendees. We know it's the initial few days of Ramadan, and having so much of you in this session is really notable. Thanks to the panelists also sparing their time and making it happen. It's a little difficult job to speak after the two leaders, to brand and to the vertical leaders. One is in the PV modules, Longi, undoubtedly number one. Sungrow, again, on the inverter segments, number one company in the world in terms of a size, in terms of market share, in terms of the products, in terms of the technologies what they are bringing in. And then speaking immediately after that, it makes my work very difficult. What I'm going to do is there are basically three dimensions of any solar project. One is the cost, then quality, and then third is the time. Now, cost and quality, for sure, it's being taken care by the principal companies, and they ensure that the right product in right shape and the quantity comes to you, which makes the yield better of a overall solar project. There is one aspect of this entire process, and which is a time aspect, equally important, but very less and very little attention has been paid to it so far. So Power & Sun as a company, who's also a strategic partner for both Longi and Sungrow, we play our role in this particular area. The basic idea at which we work is how to increase the speed of a solarization in the region. Before I jump on the subject and and then actually suggest that how we are doing this, I would like to quickly introduce say what is Power & Sun. We are basically a one-stop solar solution and supplies company in the Middle East region. We are now in expansions in South Africa and India and some other parts in the Middle East regions. We are basically a demand aggregator. We aggregate the market demand on a regular basis. This is now become a live capturing of a demand. We club all the demand, aggregate it, draw the projections, create the forecast from there, and then place the orders in advance. How this helps in the industry and to make the solar projects faster than the required time, we'll explain it in detail. We also provide engineering and project management services whenever it is required. Solar Simplified is a terminology coined by us in the region, and what exactly it does, I'll explain it to you in the subsequent slides. 360-degree of solutions, all off-grid, hybrid, zero exports, on-grid, all the solutions we look at, and we also have probably the first company in the region where the online buying is also possible for the solar components. Till end of 2020, we have supplied 450 megawatt in this region, and probably by the end of 2021, we will be close to 650 to 700 megawatt, because 2021 has been all the projects which were on hold in 2020 has now been moving, and it's been giving a lot of work for us to turn around and to complete them. We have a presence close to 30-35 countries in the regions, means we have the customers where we are those countries we are actually servicing it from here. More than 7 years in the industry, best price guaranteed. When we say the best price guaranteed is actually by all means, I mean, we inverters, PV modules in all the areas, we will be able to provide the right product and at the best price. Largest PV supplier in the region, I mean, we play our role as an integrator, either create a BOQ for the project source, or take a BOQ and supply more than 80, 85 or 90% of the projects. So this is a small introduction what the Power & Sun does over here. Going to the as I said, the time, cost and quality dimensions of any solar project, especially on a residential and on a C&I sector up to the 20-25 megawatt. Our area is only up to that scale. We don't get involved in utility or any larger projects than this size. While getting into this industry and then knowing the strengths and the weaknesses, the typical SWOT analysis and what we should be delivering it and where are the actually gaps. We found it out that 75% of the project cost, or maybe 70% closer to that of the project time, is actually spent in making the materials available to the site. Now, this is directly or indirectly also reflects into the cost. Installations may be a 10, 15, 20% or 25% based on the project to project, and commissioning may be the 5%. So the point is, if this 75% or 70% of this, the time which has been spent on managing the materials to the site, if this has been handled effectively and scientifically by using the best principles and practices of supply chain, we are sure we will be able to squeeze a good amount of time, and even the energy from the system. And this is the area where we actually focus. We use the supply chain practices and principles in a very at a very advanced stage, draw up a master plans, deploy inventory, including the transits, create a different order processing units, means, and then capture the demand. So all happens on a very active and very agile format, which connects back to us on a daily basis with the manufacturing plants. That's how we are able to deliver and make the products available well in time. The Solar Simplified, which I was speaking it to you in the beginning, it is an overall approach or a methodology in which we increases the availability of a product to a greater extent without compromising on the cost and the energy yield. As I said, either we take the BOQ of the plants, or we produce it along with the customer, prepare it, and then make the entire availability window visible and thing available to the clients. The key point here is the risk of most of the EPCs or the installing companies. They start procurement of the components when the project is actually awarded to them, because they are not the stockists, so they would not like to carry that risk of buying the equipment in advance and then applying them onto the various projects, especially when the technology is changing in every 6 months. This risk from the EPCs, we take it on our shoulder because we address a larger market. That's how we de-risk it from our side. And this risk, so before the project is awarded, it is under a discussion stage. We get involved and make the availability of the products at that point of time. So just imagine a situation where a project was supposed to be concluded in a 6 months time, and 70% of that time is a material management time. If we address that effectively in terms of the availability, you will see that the entire project turnaround time is reduced from 6 months to the 4 months, or maybe sometimes 3.5 months. And this supports the overall cause that why someone is going for a solarization, because he sees the benefit in it. And the question is, if we are delaying the project delivery by 3 months, it means we are making him, or we are not giving him those benefits which he was supposed to get at 3 months in advance. We are delaying those benefits also to him after 3 months. So that's our role. Basically, that's our value addition in making the products available to the site. How do we do this is a question, is a subject which needs a lot of details and minute actually working. But on a global way, if I need to explain, we basically try to align the demand chain in the marketplace. Once we have the automated, or like in the month of March end, our Q2 planning of the material was completed, contracts were signed, advance was paid. So we know what material is going to come when, and this information is shared back to the EPC. So in the new plants or in the new projects, they try to take that into consideration, and we thereby avoid fluctuation of whether it is 530 or 450 or 490 or 545 or 540. So that's how this is being handled. That's where it's bringing the visibility in advance to the actual users or to the project managers, increasing availability, which results in that, and assuring agility is another very important aspect. Many times when the procurement takes place, the entire process is expected to be agile because of the technological changes or because of some commercial changes which are taking place recently, and this we act in between as a cushioning effect, absorbs from both the sides, and move forward. So Solar Simplified has been very active in most of the EPCs in this region, especially in the Middle East region, which we will be bringing it to the other regions as well. We know the projects when it is going to come. We plan the material. The prices are common and known to everyone, so there's not much of a room to play. But then the entire demand chain has been aligned, which supports them, which supports us. Together with Longi and Sungrow, we, as I said, in a summing up form, is we do a quick availability, required technical supports from both the sides. This is a very interesting point. Somewhere Kevin has mentioned in his presentation about a holistic approach to the complete project. It's not a individual component based optimization or the component based efficiency improvement. If we are able to develop or generate a holistic view of the complete project and focus it on the yield generation, this view is most of the times available with us, because we deal not only in inverters, not only in PV modules. We have cables, structures, connectors, combiner boxes, monitoring systems as a complete package. Excellent pricing and experienced partner, very important, because many times experience plays its role and brings the required value, which has not been brought by sheer knowledge or by sheer pricing or any other skills. Last slide where would like to sum it up. We work on the speed of a solarization in the region by becoming or providing the simple and agile and optimized solutions. We achieve this by using the demand and supply chain tools and techniques, significantly increasing the product availability time. And the overall approach in the system is whosoever is connected in the business should have his space and should get benefit or should be benefited from that entire system. This is a quote which we follow it very religiously. It's been picked up from the Arthashastra, which is close to around more than 2,000 years back, a quote which is still valid and now valid in this region. So thanks, ladies and gentlemen, again, and with this, I am through with my session. Back to Sangeeta. We will pick up the questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable insights. Yes, we will pick up the questions after the panel discussion. So attendees, let's begin with our exciting panel discussion. And session experts who have joined us today are Mr. Alvin Shi, who is the Managing Director, Sungrow MENA region. Mr. LK Verma, who is the Founder and Managing Director from Power & Sun. He will also be moderating today's session. Mr. Kevin Robinson, who is the Technical Sales Manager from Longi Solar. Mr. Ahmed Al-Kushaf, who is the Regional Sales Manager from Longi Solar. And Mr. Sheil Shi, who is the Technical Engineer from Sungrow MENA region. I'd like to hand over the session to LK Verma, sir, to take the discussions forward with other speakers. Thank you.
Thanks, Sangeeta, for navigating and taking us up to this stage of the event. We are, I think, on time, maybe slightly 5 minutes behind schedule, but good to be right on the time. Nice event, good presentations from both Kevin and Sungrow from the Shield. First question came into you, which has been also asked in the chat here, and which has been very openly and loudly getting discussed these days, is 600 plus watt panel, 400 plus watt panel, 500 plus watt panel. So what should we choose and why?
Okay, I think that's quite an important question, and I think it's one of the areas that probably is some of the biggest confusion in the industry at the moment. So I think let's take a step backwards, and why has this trend of growing the size of the solar cells, why has it happened? So what the manufacturers are trying to do is to optimize the fixed costs. So your processing speed still remains the same, but by increasing the wafer or the ingot sizes, what we're able to do is, when we're growing the ingots, it means that we cut larger cells, and it means the fixed costs are still staying the same, but effectively the cost per watt is coming down. So that's where a lot of the cost optimization has come in terms of bringing the cost of the final product down. But I think there has been a different philosophy between choosing which solar cells are the best. We feel that the M6 and M10 still offer the best value proposition for a number of reasons. So yes, you can go the bigger solar cell sizes. We feel, though, that this really has a benefit for the manufacturer and not necessarily the customer. So the first thing, going to a 210 size solar cell, if you look at the internal structure of the solar cell, suddenly you've got 5 strings inside the solar module instead of 6, and this has some question marks around how reliable is that junction going to be with the increased size of the bypass diodes, and also the stringing inside the solar module itself is not symmetrical. So there are some question marks around that. Our philosophy is to try and look at the whole ecosystem. So we're looking at not only cable optimization. If you increase the size of the solar cell, all of a sudden you have higher current. So higher currents means cable losses. Higher current also means that, especially on the bigger size modules, suddenly you go from 2 inputs for each MPPT for the inverter. Now you go down to 1 MPPT. So there are some hidden costs around that. Also, with the larger size solar module, your mounting structure cost actually increases, because where you need to clamp the modules in 2 locations on a smaller module, all of a sudden you have to start clamping in 3 places. So that has an implication as well. Installation does become a little bit more complex now, because if you start handling the larger size modules, suddenly it becomes more difficult. You need specialist equipment to forklifts and lifts to get the modules onto the roofs. So there is an increased cost on that side of things. And can I just share? I want to show you a slide as well. I did mention that it's slightly or a little bit, but what I'd like to do is share a slide. I just wanted to show you something, and this is something that has come out of actually RETC as part of their durability testing. So I did show this earlier to show in the reliability testing, one of the categories is the dynamic and mechanical loading test. So what they do is the module is clamped as it would be in the mounting structure, whether it's on the roof or on a tracker system, and then they start loading the module. So they have a special machine which does positive and negative pressure on the module, and it's actually quite an interesting process. But what they're looking at is how does the module in the environment react to those load conditions, and it's looking at not only how the aluminium frames last, how the glass lasts, but also looking at micro cracking. So how did the cells, you know, how do the cells behave? Is the cracking, does it cause degradation? And this is some results from the RETC testing. With the larger modules, what they've shown is that you know, there are some hidden costs around the larger size solar modules. So not quite as stable when it comes to the load testing. It means that if you have the bigger modules, you have to start thinking about increasing the mounting structures, the frames themselves, and they are starting to show that there are some challenges around using the larger modules. So just in summary, when you consider the entire ecosystem of your solar installation, we still feel that the M6 and M10 module sizes are the best solution for industry.
Excellent. So big size is always not good. I mean, we can't go with a thumb rule that big is always good. Thanks for that.
Not necessarily. I think there are important considerations. It's not only about cost per watt. It comes into the entire ecosystem, and as I mentioned, there are some hidden costs in going with large format solar modules.
Holistic approach is must. You know, we need to have a bird's eye view on the overall subject rather than going it only with the one component. Thanks, Kevin. I'll go to the Alvin now. 2020, 2019, I saw some news floating. Sungrow has won this, Sungrow has won that. So can you just quickly brief us that how did 2020 go with you, and what are the major plans for 2021 in terms of products and in terms of the major key strategies which you would like to share, you know, to the forum?
Okay, thanks, Mr. Former. So it's very honored to have this time to speak together with our distinguished partners, Mr. Former and Longi teams. Okay, when it comes to Sungrow, as you know, we have until now we have 25 people dedicated in this region for these MENA regions, including sales, service, technicals. And in 2020, I can say we almost captured all the major utility projects and almost get about the 2.5 gigawatt projects in 2020. And we hope in 2021 we'll have more. Our expectation should be double this year. And regarding the new product, as you know, in the beginning of the Q1, we just launched our new RT series for the residentials. And in Q2, we're going to launch our residential energy storage system products for these regions. Actually, for the residential products and BS products, we already have these products in the other regions, like in Australia, like in Europe, but we didn't bring this to this region. And then now in Q2, we will launch this new product. And together, we will launch our energy storage system for the C&I segment, like 50 kilowatts, 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour solutions. And also, maybe in early Q3, we will launch our RS series, the single-phase residential product. That's remaining target for some certain markets, like in Jordan, like in some other countries, and in North Africa. And as you know, in 2020, we captured almost more than 30% of the market share, especially in some countries, like in Egypt, we have almost a demonstrate market. And we are hoping to work together with our partners like Parmesan to bring our latest tolerated products and our best service and support to this region, including the GCCs, including the Levant, including the North Africa.
There is one more question which is coming back again to you, Alvin. You know, inverters, which are normally called as a heart or a brain of the system, I mean, the plant's energy depends on them. The energy yield, the total power output depends on them. And how are you going to support the region in terms of its services?
Including the service, we have two business modes. Firstly, of course, we rely on our partners, channel partners, and they will already get most all of them are already get certified and trained by Sungrow service teams and certified as a Sungrow authorized service partners for the product. And the second thing, we will rely, as you know, we have dedicated service teams which located in each different countries. Like we have service guys in Egypt, we have service guys in Oman, in Qatar, in KC, of course, in Dubai office. This will be to ensure that we will provide the service in time. Okay, this means we have two teams to work together, our channel partners as well as our Sungrow's own service engineers.
Excellent, excellent. Ahmed, I'll come to you now. Longi, we see a little late entrant in the Middle East market, and now we see that you are sweeping good projects and nice projects. So can you brief that how do you see the 2021 from a Longi's perspective?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, thank you very much for this webinar, and thank you for having us and Sungrow as a strategic partners here in this webinar together. The good thing that we always mention that you, Power and Sun, has in your bag has the biggest suppliers in the module side and the inverter side as well. So that's a very strong point, and that absolutely means success. For Longi, what we have done until now, as you said, we have been a little bit late in this region because Longi were only focusing on the Chinese market before. But since the last 2 years, we have seen that even our team in the Middle East and Africa has been expanded. We currently have around 20 persons in the Middle East and Africa itself who are following on the utility scale and the DG or the C&I sector as well. So we have expanded, and we have now presence in the region. Last year, Longi has made the record of more than 20 gigawatt module shipments. We break this record in 2020, and we were the first module manufacturer to break this record. In addition, we are continuously expanding our production capacities. In Q1, we reached 45 gigawatt module capacity, which is the highest, and we are going forward to increase also our production capacities and to fulfill this demand, the huge demand that we can see in the market. For this year, in the Middle East region, we can see that we are doing very good by having also our partners such as Power and Sun. We have supplied our modules to almost every country in the region, which give us a very good start, let's say, for this year. And we are expecting by end of this year to have the highest market share in the region as well as worldwide.
Thanks, Ahmed. I'll just move to now Shield. Very quick point. You have explained in your presentation about the new model of especially for a C&I sector. Can you just quickly brief us that what changes or what benefit it will bring it to the solar project installers and to the owners? Shield, are you able to hear us? Hello. I think Shield is not connected on the mic now. Let me move again to the Alvin. Alvin, would you like to share this?
Yes, and very good. Okay, so in terms of the benefits using the product, is that as shared or we explained in his slides that as you know, and currently we already update all our 6 family to the initially is type 1 and then now it's type 1 plus type 2. Okay, this one of the benefit, and also the arc protections and the Q-Night such as the rapid shutdown, those kind of functions is right now is all available with our latest product. It's kind of a second upgrade versions for all the 6 families. Okay, and as well as you can see, there's the vertical horizontal installations and 1 minute quick change of the fans maintenance, and as well as some cable connections. You know, the product design principle is not only to have the latest technology, to have the best performance, but also will make it easier for the installers to install the products on site. It's kind of human kind of usage.
This, I think, both Kevin or Alvin, or I mean, it's an open question to the forum. Who would like to add to it? He can say. See, we see the panel technology changing it after 6 months. New products are coming up. We also see the inverters getting upgraded. Then there are new features are getting added up. So is one of the basic intention or the objective of bringing a PV module and the inverter company also together under one roof and on one platform is to initiate or to ignite the discussions where one benefits from the other in terms of understanding their features and create or increase the overall efficiency of the system. So the question is, PV modules getting compatibility with the inverters with a change, or inverters getting compatible with the new PV modules. So what, how frequently the internal meetings takes place, or what is the mechanism for this? Is that I think it was a too long a question, so probably I need to summarize it again.
No, it's fine. Let me. Okay, so when it just comes to how often do we meet, that I can't say, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the research and development department. What I will say is that we have seen some manufacturers who do white label manufacturing of inverters, whether it's integration of microelectronics on the back of the modules, module level power electronics. White label, some companies do white label systems. However, I think when it comes to manufacturing, I think the philosophy behind mass production of solar modules and inverters is quite different, quite a different skill set. I think that collaboration is important, and the module industry did, going back sort of 3-4 years ago, it had been pretty stagnant for a long time. There wasn't a lot of innovation and development, but we've just gone through a very rapid cycle of change, and I think the inverter technology has caught up, and I don't think that there will be new innovation in terms of module sizes. Of course, there is still a lot of innovation and research into the cell technology, so there are new cell technologies that are coming in 2-3 years down the line, but that's more going to be about efficiencies and slight incremental increases in power rather than some of the rapid changes that you have seen in the last 2-3 years time.
You would like to add something, Shield, to it, or?
Yes, we for Sungrow inverter, we for our side, we are always follow and keep the keep the rhythm with PV panels such as Longi, such as all the mainstreams of PV modules, and we have enhanced reservation for the input of both the current, the voltage. Like for example, for our CX inverters, we support 1,100 volts open circuit voltage, and in the future, the maximum input current could be reached to 30.5 amperes. So that's always we are going furthermore than the PV modules. Thus we can help to try from our best that keeps the design of the PV plant always fit with the PV modules.
Good. So thanks, Sheil. I think we are through. There is also a provision of raising the hand. So if any attendees wants to ask a question, we can pick one or two live questions. They can put it on the chat box also if they like. Otherwise, Sangeeta, I am through. I can give back the mic to you to conclude the session. I think I don't see any hands coming up. No, it's fine. Sangeeta, are you there with us? No, I think we're not able to have her back. We are at the last stage of the event now. I think thanks to all the attendees sparing time in this era of webinars, where every second day there is one or two webinar and joining us and coming on the stage in such a large numbers. Thanks to all the panelists, Longi and Sungrow, for sparing their time and energy for the event and making the right inputs for the audience. Thanks to the Solar Quarter as a media partner, reaching out to the people and creating, being there with us right from the start of the event. Thanks to the organizing team as well, who was behind this event, the Fahad and the team working at Power and Sun. Just 3 points summing it up for the entire event. One is that the new technologies are coming up from the PV side, but that doesn't mean anything which is large or which is big is good. There are upgradations, there are developments which are taking place on the inverter side, where as in new features, as in safety features to the market, and most importantly, there is a holistic approach, inverters and PV modules, because both of they constitute more than 90% of the overall solar project. So there is a compatibility approach which is happening behind the walls, like which type of panels, inverters upgrading themselves for taking care of the PV modules upgrading themselves, taking care of the the inverters. So in the overall interest, it is good for the industry, and you can our email addresses are there available on the registrations. This entire event is also recorded. The recorded session will be available on our website. We will be providing you the link. Any questions, if it is there, if it comes up with you even after the event also, please feel free to reach any one of the panelists who have attended over here, or if you're not able to get their emails, reach to us. We will link it to you directly to the people. Thanks once again. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.